Let's create perfect invisible hem. This technique is so good, you can use even contrasting thread and these stitches won't be visible on the outside of the garment. First, you need to mark the hem. I like to mark my hem using a baste stitch because it shows where the hemline is on the right and the wrong side of the fabric. Alternatively, you can use chalk and you want to mark the hemline on the right side of the fabric. Next, before stitching the hem, you want to press the hem. So you start by folding the seam allowance to the inside of the garment and pressing the bottom and then gently moving towards the top of the seam allowance. At the top of the seam allowance, you're not pressing the iron, but you're just gently gliding on top, barely touching the fabric and giving it a good steam. You may notice that I also added interfacing at the hem line. However, that's not necessary. I use it for this specific design because the pants are cut on the angle and I wanted to add a more structure to the hem. Before pressing the hem, I put a pin at the side seams to really match them and make sure that they are neatly aligned. Pressing hem before making the stitch is key because it will allow us to create a very beautifully folded hem and it won't be waving. Once you press the hem, you want to do a baste stitch about 2 centimeters from the top of the seam line. This will hold the hem while we will be doing this stitch. Now it's time to make the magic invisible stitch. To do that, I want you to take your garment inside out and fold it and hold it like this. Now this is key because holding the fabric this way will allow you to make that stitch very well. Now it's time to do the stitch. First you go ahead and you put a needle to the seam allowance. Then you take the needle out and on the main garment fabric you take one thread. Just one thread. This is very important. Then you go ahead and you put the needle back to the seam allowance about 1 centimeter from the initial stitch. And then you continue doing this type of stitch all around the hem. Now in this stitch technique there are 3 very important parts that will make or break this entire technique. So number 1, when you're putting the needle to the main fabric of the garment, you want to take only one thread. Only one thread, that's it. If you put more threads, they will be visible on the right side of the garment. Now, because we're taking only one thread from the main fabric, we want these stitches to be very close to each other. So you want to space your stitches about 1 to 1.5 centimeters. And now because we're taking one thread only and we're making the stitches very close to each other, we want to make sure that the stitches themselves are quite loose. So when you hold the fabric, you should be seeing that V shape. If the thread is tense, you will not see the V shape and it will be more like this kind of small wave. Now, because of the loose stitches, they won't be pulling the main fabric that much and they won't be visible on the right side. These 3 points are key in this technique, and if you get them right, you're able to use even white thread to hem black pair of pants and they won't be visible on the right side of the garment. Now, of course, I'm using white thread only because I wanted to show you how to do this on camera, but I will continue hemming these pants using black thread because that's naturally a better option, but it would have been invisible on this screen. So once you went all around the hem, remove all the base stitches and the final part left is pressing. Now to press the hem, you put the garment to the right side out and you start by giving a very good steam and holding the iron slightly above the fabric. Now here you don't want to push the iron to the fabric because it will create an edge where the seam allowance is. So instead, just glide a little bit over the fabric and give it a good steam. The steam will shrink the top main fabric, hiding those stitches even more. And that's it, your hem is beautifully finished and you have created a perfect invisible hem. This is one of the many techniques that I show in my latest course for Florence pants pattern. The course is very detailed and I show not only how to make something but why we're doing something, because I do believe that this helps learn better. You can take the course anytime. It's pre-recorded course. It comes with a free pattern and about over 3 hours of video content to really help you learn these techniques that you will be able to use in future projects as well. If you would be interested in this course, I will link it in the description box. Thank you for watching this video and I will see you next time. Bye!